Are you ready?
That's cool.
And this means 9.
And we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait.
Oh my god, Ivan.
Alright, we're live.
We're going live now. We're going live now. We're going live now. We're going live now.
And we are live now.
We're going live now.
Ah.
And we're live.
Oh, it says on my YouTube.
Yo, welcome to the Film Pod. I'm
watch live.
JT Dubs.
And I am Lauren Guest.
I'm JT Dubs. This is Lauren.
Not wearing any pants.
This is Ivan
Hello.
Lichtenstein. And
I'm Joseph.
our guest is Joseph Lancaster.
Hi.
So, Joseph, you've been a fan of this show for how long now, you said?
I'll be honest. I've seen this show a few times. And the first time I saw this show, I saw Ivan bitch out about Avengers. And it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. But I had to turn it off for like a few minutes because I thought it was so ridiculous.
Yo, so you
Joseph,
posted it up on your YouTube channel, Ivan?
What?
The live stream?
It's up on Jackson's.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I'm logged into his account.
Yeah.
Do I need to watch
Yeah, that's why it says that Ivan is JT Dubs, but let me assure you, I am JT.
You're the one and only.
Ivan is just
one
Windows.
subscriber?
Why the
Ivan is my understudy.
Of course.
Oh, holy no.
All right, so today we are talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Quentin
There
Tarantino
you
movie.
are.
So, what'd you guys think of it? Tell me
I
about
loved it.
your thoughts on the movie.
I loved it.
I thought it was excellent, and I'm glad it wasn't super predictable.
That movie was wild.
It
Well-
was very good.
Can we talk about like what exactly it is? If you could sum it up in a couple of words. Just
It sounds-
anyone?
Sounds like you want sum up
A mind fuck.
I mean, if you
A
don't
couple of
mind me
words,
summing it up, I
so-
can sum it up.
that, my boy.
Hollywood people.
Hollywood in the late 60s.
Ivan, are you going to be just reading the Wikipedia article the whole time?
No, I'm not. I can sum it up right here. So basically,
All right, sum it up.
All right, so Once Upon a Time ... in Hollywood is the new Tarantino movie, and it follows the story of Rick Dalton, who's a washed-out actor, and he has a stuntman named Cliff Booth, who's just been a stuntman for a really long time. They're kind of going through the turbulent 1969 year leading into the 70s, so it's kind of the end of the sunshine year. And while this is going on, you hear different intertwining stories between the Mansons, and you also hear different intertwining stories with Sharon Tate and her life and how all these things kind of intertwine within the year of 1969. And it's told in more of, would you say it's like told in more of a fairy tale style? Because I would argue it's so. But that's basically what the whole movie is about.
The way I view the movie, and this is how one of my friends described it to me. Basically, like, this movie is the happily ever after of what could have happened if, you know, the Charles Manson's family didn't like commit the murder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say they still did it in a way because in actuality, and I'm not spoiling anything because this is history.
Spoiler alert, in real life, Sharon Tate was killed by the Mansons.
Mm-hmm. So, in real life, Sharon Tate was killed by the Mansons while she was pregnant, along with Jay Sebring, who's also in the movie, but he, in real life, is a very prominent, at the time, was a very prominent hairstylist and barber for a lot of famous people. And I forget, and and also 2 other friends who are also at Sharon Tate's house. Well, Roman Polanski's house in the movie. I don't know if it was actually his house in real life, so I don't want to be quoted on that. But that's what actually happened in real life.
Rip. So, okay. Question, you guys.
What's the question?
I just want to go ahead and jump to it. How did y'all feel about the last 20
Rip in
minutes of the
peace.
movie?
I felt like
The whole movie was the last 20 minutes, in my opinion.
Well, I think it was a terrible way for 2 friends to leave each other, and I didn't know if the guy had died. trying to save him. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it was wild. The fact
was
that
wild.
the fact that he was just so
Joseph, you're
okay
saying you
with
would leave me
everything
like that?
happening.
He was tripping, and he like.
He was like,
people.
"You're real, right? Like,
You're real,
this
right?
is not a part
Oh
of
wait,
my hallucination."
spoiler
Yeah.
alert, right?
Yeah, no,
It's just for anyone watching. That's we're talking about spoilers now. I guess
Yeah.
we jumped right into
Spoilers like almost like less than 10 minutes into the movie.
Hey man,
I mean,
I
10
tried.
minutes in the stream.
All I said was that I just thought it was a wild twist.
It was.
The way that
It was
also
pretty fun.
But when they were
Also-
talking about like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12:30, and they were, I was like, I know he's about to start smoking that acid cigarette. So,
It was at some point we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
I sort of felt like I know we talked about this a little bit after the movie, but like the last 20 minutes or the climax of the movie definitely felt the most Tarantino out of the whole like your typical Tarantino film in a way.
right. Yeah,
I
I
think the
loved it.
lines were very funny.
I thought the action was phenomenal. I thought it was like as gruesome as all get out. Don't get me wrong, but it was great. Like
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's Tarantino style pretty much.
Well done.
Well, it's also interesting because I remember a couple years ago he gave an interview well, not a couple years ago, it's been a while, but like when Kill Bill was coming out.
He's back on. There you go. Hi. There you are.
And I remember like when Kill Bill was coming out, he did an interview with a woman,
I am.
and he was saying how he was defending basically how movie violence is not the same as real life violence. But I think it's really interesting that he's taking violence that was depicted in like done in real life with the Manson murders and then putting his own little twist on it. So does it really retract the statement, or does it like
The flamethrower at the end.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
flamethrower, I was
God.
dying.
Cooked her to a crisp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also I thought it was wild how like he couldn't get where he needed to be in Hollywood, and he kept talking up the Hollywood life, how it was the only place for him to be. But the only way that he became successful was when he went out of the country and did all those Italian Western films.
Well, basically what it is with me, well, when I
Spaghetti
saw it, it was
westerns.
like, yeah, the spaghetti westerns. Well, basically what it was for me when I saw it, I just saw him as a washed-up actor who was just so used to those types of roles and that he couldn't really venture off and be successful into anything else. So it made a lot of sense why he was doing all those like westerns in Rome.
Guys, let's just
Yeah.
be honest, guys. Be totally honest here. This was basically BoJack Horseman the movie.
Yeah,
It was what?
BoJack Horseman the movie.
Have none of y'all seen BoJack
Oh.
Horseman?
Yeah.
It was basically BoJack Horseman the movie.
What did you guys think about the scene
show's so good.
where he was kidnapping the little girl?
Wait, what?
What did you think of the scene where where the main character was kidnapping that girl?
Oh, are you talking about?
That was I think that was excellent acting on Leonardo DiCaprio's part.
Oh yeah, he acted extremely well in that scene. Like that was, I mean, he was supposed to be
That
acting
man
well
just
in the
wants
movie
more
too.
than one
Yeah.
Oscar.
It was awesome.
He got
Yeah.
one, and now he needs more.
Oh, he'll get
Right.
another one eventually. Hopefully.
I felt like Brad Pitt did a great job in this movie.
Brad Pitt was excellent.
He was great.
His
I thought.
acting
was
was great.
Did y'all read the articles about how Bruce Lee's family was upset at the way that they portrayed Bruce Lee and how he got his ass beat?
I heard that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking movie. Why do you have your tits in a twist?
They didn't even name him.
I just don't understand.
Can we make that the new tagline for the film pod? It's just a movie. Don't get your tits in a fucking twist.
I mean, it's a film.
That's like-
you know what I'm saying?
That's like that's the Lauren equivalent of Ivan's like, it's just a movie, guys. It's just a movie.
I love you, Ivan. I'm on your side.
Fuck you, Lauren.
What?
Lauren,
I'm kidding.
Lauren,
I'm
you're never on
kidding.
Ivan's side.
You better calm down now,
Lauren's
boy.
Lauren's always the first one to like go after Ivan and tell
I
him that he's
know.
wrong for his
It's a common theme here on the Film Pod.
opinion on the
Look,
movie.
hey, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Done- done good.
I'm very proud of you too.
All right.
What are you guys proud of each other for? Like, where's this coming from?
I don't
I just
know.
get
Like,
a
just
you.
out of nowhere.
I get a you tried gold star, and then Ivan gets a gold star for not being Mr. Negative so much anymore.
Are we even talking about the movie anymore?
Yes.
I mean, we're only
No.
talking about one movie today, so we have time to like
Yeah.
go on tangents if we need to.
Oh, okay. Well then, all right. Let's go ahead and go back to the movie because I have questions about this. How'd y'all feel about the vibes of the movie? You know, I thought that they did a really good job portraying the movie from that time era. You know, I thought that it was really well played out, like how hard people were tripping, like on the acid and stuff, and how many, no, like how many hippies there really were out there, and like, you know, you could see all the propaganda signs put up and all the like business sales signs, you know, buy this, this, and this for only 75 cents. And you think about it and you're like, wow, being homeless back then was probably like one of the best ways to live because it was so cheap back then. So
Okay,
it's like,
so I got to comment on that. So, pretentious film student here, but I will say the mise en scene in this film is fucking phenomenal. Like
Oh,
they
absolutely.
really sell the whole style, not only the style of the movie, but also just like visually the sets and the locations they got. Would have no idea that this wasn't filmed. The only reason you can is otherwise, like if you were to change the camera quality and make it worse, I believe this was made in the late '60s.
right.
Honestly,
Yeah.
other
No, I mean, one of the things they do really well is they sometimes have clips
than the
in that
gratuitous
movie.
violence at the end,
It
that
was
would
like
never
it was
that would have
like a
never been in a movie in the
fanfic
'60s.
of the past put in modern time.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things they do really well too in the movie is that whenever they do flashback scenes on Rick
That's probably why
Dalton
Ivan
in
liked it so much.
movies, they show that like grainy Super 8, 16mm
Right.
quality for it, and it just really goes out to show how much Quentin Tarantino really does appreciate the art form and
Right.
showing it to like a massive
Right.
audience like that, and it just means a lot that he really takes the time to do that instead of just like
It
showing
was
it on
also
screen and digital.
Tarantino was also
I loved the dog.
Tarantino was also just really
Yes.
inspired by that time period as well.
Well, he was like
So
raised
you
on those
you
types
can
of
tell it was
movies
the
too.
type of movie he wanted to make for a long time.
I think he did a
Oh,
great
yeah.
job with it. Now, okay, so it took me a second to put this together, but I remember when you and I had first started talking on this movie, like right after I'd seen it, and I rated it as low as I rated it. My ratings for it are higher now that I understand. There were a lot of glitches in the movie that threw me off, and then
Glitches?
I realized, yeah, like, okay, so
This is a video game.
no, like, let me explain. Like, okay, so there was a scene where Rick Dalton was talking to one of the other actors, and he had, like, came up to him,
I
and
know what
then
you're
he
talking
had his
about.
hat on. Yeah, and then it just, like, or, like, it was off, and then, it just, like, skipped, and then it was on.
Oh,
What
that
I
was like having
realized
time.
yeah, that was like him, like just thinking, you know, because he wasn't paying attention, and it kind of like just like snapped back into reality, like of what everything else was really going on. And I didn't understand that at first, so it threw me off, and I didn't like it. But as I got to sit there and thinking, because I was like, what are we really going to talk about since this is the only movie that we're going to talk about in the podcast? And then I was like, well, you know, he is a washed up actor going through alcoholism right now. So he's suffering through like memory loss, you know, drowning in debt, can't pay his rent, all that crap. So he's going through like this big depression, and it just kind of shows like, you know, the realism of how it is to live that way. You know what I'm saying? Like in that state of mind.
Well, it's the whole like washed up actor syndrome too. Like he quote unquote like literally says it in the movie that he's a has been, and he has to resort to like going to Rome to like get some type of income or get some
Yeah.
type of recognition.
and he had to marry that woman. Well, he didn't have to,
But
but
he did.
I felt like he did so. Then one, he wouldn't be lonely. Two, because of the people that he was working with.
I like too how they showed the social divide, like between like the hippies in Hollywood and the rich people in
Kind
Hollywood,
of like the
because
socialists
it's
and the
interesting now
greasers.
because like, well, it's like nowadays though when you think about Hollywood, like typically you think of like people that are really liberal that would probably agree with hippies on a lot of things politically, but back then in the late '60s would have been the opposite. They're just driving by and they're just like, these damn hippies.
Yeah,
Right.
like Rick
Like
Dalton says, these
These
effing
it's very
dirty
hippies.
accurate to the
hippies, these
time. I
poor
mean,
folks, going around tripping all the time. How did y'all feel about Brad Pitt's dog?
He was a good dog.
Oh, I loved it.
I'm training
dog,
my
it
dog
was cute.
to answer me like that. I'm gonna.
Train your dog to kill people.
Nah, she's a little cute chihuahua. Where is my dog? That's a good question. Lucille.
Chihuahuas are the most vicious.
Lucille.
I had a Chihuahua.
She's in her little hiding hole. I think. I think she's sleeping. Just gonna go get
That's
her.
cool.
Yeah. I like to whip out the pup every now and then, flex on them.
I like pugs.
I like pugs. All right, we're getting off topic again.
I'm just like watching this play out, this dog conversation right now.
Yeah, me
Just
too. I'm not even
seeing how it
going to
goes.
say anything at all.
I was fascinated by that pit bull. How nasty everyone lived back in the day in that movie was wild. It was so gross.
There were a lot of cigarettes. I had to take a break and go take a cigarette.
He
Luckily,
did.
I had
Joseph went to go see the movie with me and Ivan, and at one point Joseph just got up and left, and Ivan and I look at each other after like 20 minutes. We're like, "Where's Joseph? Is he coming back?" And then he comes back in. And I just get this whiff of smoke, and I'm like,
I just
"Okay,
have
I know
my
where he
Juul,
went."
so I just
That's
hit it in
cool.
the movie theater.
Oh wow, I love Jules. We're not condoning illegal activity here.
Juul's not illegal. We're all adults
No.
here.
You
but
guys
in
are
the
just
movie
you guys are
theater.
just bad influences on all the kids watching. They're gonna listen to you and they're gonna go get their jewels, and then they're gonna get lung cancer someday and blame the film pod. So I'm not paying for that lawsuit. I'm just saying. Just saying.
All right, Shane Dawson.
So back to the movie. So I want to bring up the fact that this movie does a very good job of foreshadowing at all times, which I think is important when you've got a movie like this that some who aren't really used to Tarantino style might consider it to be like unfocused.
I would
But
argue.
really, this movie
Sorry.
has a pretty good focus on like what it wants to tell its story about. But the foreshadowing that I noticed too, when you brought up the dog, I thought about it. It's the fact that you got that scene towards the beginning where Brad Pitt is putting the dog food into the dog's bowl, and he's like telling him to wait, and then he gives him the signal, lets the dog eat. And it kind of plays in later with the dog, Manson. Was it the guy or the girl?
Tex.
I don't remember. But it sort of ties into that, and then you've also got the acid cigarette, which they bring up. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes before it's actually used. But there's a lot of sort of Chekhov's gun. That's the terminology used. A lot of good foreshadowing and sort of like while the movie wasn't predictable, they did project certain elements that you're like, okay, well that's going to come back later. I don't know how it's going to come back later, and that's kind of cool because it means like when you rewatch the movie. And I want to go see it again sometime soon because I really love the movie.
My time
But
watching it
it's
with you
cool.
was my second time.
I'm sure as I rewatch
Well, the whole time
Watch
until
it,
the ending of the movie, I thought that Sharon Tate was
for
going to
you
get
when you
her
watch the
ass
second time, you probably
obliterated.
noticed more things.
Well, one of the things that you noticed, it's kind
Oh
of
yeah,
small.
me too. I didn't know they were going to change the ending.
Yeah, well, one of the things that was kind of small, when I saw it the second time I noticed it, was when Brad Pitt's opening the shed to go get the tools to fix the antenna on the roof. When he opens the shed, in the bottom right or left-hand corner, you can see the flamethrower.
Yeah, and Rick Dalton
Yeah.
even brings up he talks about the flamethrower like early on in the film too. So really, and then you also sort of see Brad Pitt's fighting style when he goes up against Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of foreshadowing and things that get set up. And honestly, it's just really good writing. And Tarantino is one of the best screenwriters of all time, I would say. He writes the best dialogue and writes incredible
He
stories that
does.
are satisfying. But I mean, the man he knows at this point when it comes to writing, and I thought that, I've saw a lot of reviewers on YouTube talking about how they thought this movie was unfocused or it didn't seem
Jeremy Johns.
like well paced, but I felt like, I thought a lot of things were set up really well, and honestly, everything was interesting from beginning to end. So I never got bored or felt like it was dragging. Like it's not. I mean, it's kind of a slow movie. I'd say it's a slow burn, but like that's not a bad thing if it's always interesting and there's good character development. I don't think a slow movie is bad.
Well, if you're Jeremy Johns, it is because he just didn't like it that much, or he said it was good. It's a good time if you're drunk, which is one of his reviews. Only because there was too much talking.
Can't have talking in movies. We need punching.
I know.
So Joseph, you're our guest. Tell us what you thought of the movie. I want to hear more of what you guys say, Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph.
No, we barely heard from you.
I thought the movie highlighted a great friendship as well. I mean, not just the time period and the struggles of a Hollywood actor. But I really liked how there was a scene where you got to be on set with the main guy, the protagonist, the main dude,
Rick Dalton.
Rick Dalton, and I think that the movie was ultimately. I mean, I understand how the pacing may have been slow at certain points, but I think it did provide character development, and it was entertaining. I don't know how it would hold up over time, though, compared to more classic movies. But I think this movie was. I mean, it's really more of a visual mind fuck experience, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff looking back was foreshadowed. So I mean, you guys kind of hit it on the head.
Well, one of the interesting
and you
things...
said that you said it might not hold up to films from that actual era, but I think this film isn't meant to really replicate those movies. It's meant more as a love letter to that era of Hollywood. I feel
that's
like.
a good way to
Well,
say
it's like
it.
a fairy tale, pretty
Like
much.
That's what I said at the beginning. I feel like this movie kind of like betrays, how we used to be.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that it's really interesting to see that time period.
For Julian.
I thought that the hippies were pretty ridiculous, and I think they were played well.
Oh man, the dirty armpits and the non-shaved armpits and the dirty feet.
And all the feet.
The feet. Ugh.
So, there were a lot of feet. I think
how
the
she
main
got to get into the movie theater for free because she was in the movie and she was just sitting in the middle of the theater with those big ass fucking glasses.
Well, one of the weird things that I've heard about Sharon, one of the weird things I've heard about Sharon Tate too is that she was actually partly famous because she did not like to wear shoes all the time.
And that's the whole reason Quentin Tarantino made this whole movie. Like that's the only reason this was ever made.
That's the only reason that they had Sharon Tate in a movie.
The feet fetish.
That's the whole reason he made the movie. Like, I think that's he likes the time period too, but
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
that's why
it's like the time period over here and the feet all fused together.
I wonder if they felt uncomfortable.
Or about that 16-year-old hippie trying to give Brad Pitt some road goods and had the full thing of armpit hair and the dirty trailer park trash feet and just plopped them and started touching them right on the windshield.
One thing that is really well done about this movie is the fact that the villains are really like they start off and like there's kind of this mystery surrounding them, and then later on in the film you have this scene with them in the car, and it's very Tarantino that the villains have this just really funny exchange.
Oh, how she ditches them!
But then when they start but then when they actually start coming up and trying to kill our main characters, even in that scene where Brad Pitt visits their little ranch area, like straight up like the way that the Mansons are portrayed in this movie, they're terrifying, and there's a lot of tension in the end. And like one thing that's really well done, and Tarantino's always been great about this, but there's a great sense of tension between the main characters and the villains. And half the time, even though the heroes are barely aware of the Mansons,
Yeah.
Like you're still like oh shit, they're gonna get
Because it's something that
something's gonna go down.
the audience
And
doesn't know.
especially since you think
Audience
Sharon,
knows,
especially since
but
you
the
think Sharon Tate's
characters
gonna
don't
die.
know.
And it's also like it's like a twist that Sharon Tate even survives because the whole time I thought she was dead, like straight up. So that was a cool twist. That even though they were scary, they were also kind of incompetent and
She
didn't
was just like,
accomplish
Rick
anything
Dalton,
that they tried
hi,
to do.
how are you? Would you like to come up and have a drink with us?
Yeah, and that's, well, spoiler alert, that's how the movie ends.
I mean,
And one of the weirdest things too about this
spoiled
movie,
everything in the climax in the
we
first
really
5
did.
minutes of this review.
Well, one of the cool things
So-
about this movie too is that for a lot of Tarantino movies, like they're great in my opinion, but they always have some type of gimmick. Like The Hateful Eight, it's like a whodunit. Kill Bill, Kill Bill and Django Unchained, it's revenge. And then this movie, it's like there's no gimmick at all.
Right to the punchline.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, there's really
it's
it's very tame for one of his movies.
honestly, it's one of those movies I feel
I
like I
like-
could just go back and watch it, and I honestly feel like I could watch this movie anytime and just chill
I
back
like
and
how
watch
there's
it. Like
no
I'll
life
probably buy it
lesson
on
to this movie.
Blu-ray because I want to just rewatch it all the time.
Yeah.
I really like how the movie is just like a 2-hour film of just real life shit. You
2
know what
hours
I'm
and 45
saying?
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm very happy.
Oh, Lauren, you didn't get the right amount of time.
I know, come on, it's the Tarantino time, Lauren, come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on, girl, come on!
2 hours and 45 minutes. Well, I'm sorry about that.
What is this? What are you doing?
I don't know, I just thought it'd be cool to say that.
Oh my god.
He wanted to come at me like that. He thought that he could step up to me. You know who I am?
I'm not even gonna try it anymore.
Step up to you.
That's right, because I'm Samantha Ingersoll, all right?
I think my favorite two parts of the movie were the dialogue and the spontaneity.
I thought it was good, Ivan.
Thank you.
I liked it. I liked the enthusiasm.
Good lord.
I think
Okay.
I think my favorite two parts of the movie were the movie were the spontaneity and the dialogue.
My favorite part
Yeah.
was the last 20
The dialogue
minutes,
was very well
man.
done.
Yeah, me too. Really, I was having a hoot.
And then the scene where Rick Dalton was acting for the movie. Those
Yes,
were
those are my two favorite scenes.
when he
too,
had his
yeah.
mental breakdown in the trailer. I was like, that's me. That's me going
right?
through the struggles,
Me every day,
right?
except
All
for
of us.
Tuesday.
Well, watching this movie a
Whenever he has
second
to
time
watch an
too.
Avengers movie.
Watching this movie a second time too, I realized like the whole series of events really doesn't take that long, up until they get to go to Rome, because it's literally just like when it starts off, it's just probably afternoon leading into evening, then it's like a whole day, then they go to Rome and then come back, and that's pretty much the whole movie.
Yes, that is the whole movie.
Yeah,
It's really just normal Hollywood shit for them.
it was just like a normal like two
That's
day
his dude. He
venture.
pays that to go places, and he's just an actor. And then they just got caught up in the wrong like hippie shit. Like it was just really a bad luck, you know. But that's
What about the
interesting how
scene
they-
where he goes inside to visit the old man?
That when I first saw that in theaters, that was the scene that I had a lot of tension with. But then I saw it
So
again. And I
reaching
was,
30-minute time. That was fucking creepy. What did you say, Ivan?
No, I was saying when I saw it the first time, it was very tension filled. But when I saw it a second time, a lot of that, and this is kind of a negative. Like the first time you see it, it's great, but the second time or third or fourth time you see it, there's like that one scene will always like lose tension with me for some reason, because I know what's gonna happen.
Because you know how it
Yeah.
ends.
But it's a really effective scene, I'll say that.
dead. Sure, I thought the man was going to be dead.
Yeah, me too. Well, I mean,
They were
He was
setting
just-
that up. At 30 minutes into go into everybody's final thoughts on the movie real quick, and then we'll do our ratings. So we'll start with Joseph since he's our guest. Joseph, tell me your final thoughts on this movie. Just overall thoughts, the good, the bad, whatever.
I think if you want to act or see acting in the late '60s and action and with different real life stuff going on and with some sexy shit and some fucked up shit, then watch this movie. But it's the tame version of Quentin Tarantino. That's what I think. It's a good movie to go see and eat some popcorn.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the words of a
Lauren?
stoner. Right
You didn't
there.
even eat popcorn when we saw it, Joseph.
He didn't.
That's true.
I had cookie dough bites.
All right, Lauren, you go ahead and tell us your final thoughts.
Me? Me?
Yeah, tell us your final thoughts, Lauren.
Me? Wow. I thought that the movie was very well played out, and I thought that Quentin Tarantino did a. Did I say his name right?
Tio.
Quentin Tarantino or
Quentin
Tia?
Tarantino.
Look, all right, y'all leave me
Tino.
alone. Tino.
Quentin
Tino.
Tarantino Cruz.
Look. Y'all stop playing with me.
Quentin Tarantino.
I'm not. I'm just now starting to get into this shit because of you guys. But anyway, I thought that it was really good, and if I was to have to rate it and anything like that, it's gonna be pretty high. I'll save it for whenever we go through with that. I loved Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt together. They've always been one of my favorite duos in movies. They're very great together. I felt like I was honestly really jealous of, the way that things were back then. The style, the way people got along together, the way that, just the way that everyone they literally treated America like it was free.
Yeah.
Like
It was the
people lived in
summer of
peace.
love.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone lived in peace.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say that
Was
this
it?
is probably one of my newer favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. I think I'll be seeing this. I'll probably gonna buy it on DVD or Blu-ray if I have a Blu-ray
All right,
player soon.
Ivan,
Huh?
your thoughts. It's like, I hate it. It was terrible. Fuck this movie.
Took the words right out of my mouth. No.
You leave
I saw
Ivan
it on
alone.
Blu-ray.
No,
No,
I like it when he hypes up movies.
No, I love this. I love this movie. I'm gonna say it's the best thing you can see in theaters right now. Please go see
Yeah.
this movie. Please
Yes.
support it. It's awesome.
It's nice to finally have a different movie genre change up. That's good to watch in theaters instead of having all of these goddamn superhero movies in the theaters. Man, I'm
Yes.
so tired of seeing superheroes. Like, I want to see something else.
Yes.
Wow, you
I
sound a
agree.
little bit like Ivan, Lauren.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Is he rubbing off on you a
I
little
like
bit?
superhero movies.
Ever
but
since I
just wanna
ditched that
see
one
something
episode, she's
else.
just becoming more like me, more and more like me.
Like I want to see some murder mystery or even some fucking comedy for all I care. But
If you want to see
I
some
love
really messed
comedy.
up, if you want to see a messed up movie, it's not great. It's just basically just like shock value. It's called Salo or the 120 Days of Sodom.
I
That's
think
a-
I actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I saw part of it last night, and like it's not like well written. It's kind of boring, honestly. It's just like, oh, this is shocking. This is supposed to shock you, but it's really not, since it's just actors.
Right.
But it's
All right.
interesting.
It's
Anyway,
time for my final thoughts.
All right, Jackson's turn. Been waiting
My
for you,
final
Daddy.
thoughts. It was so much fun to watch. People complain about the pacing, but honestly, the pacing was good. I'm the first person that would complain about a slow movie, because that's nine times out of 10 when I'm complaining about a movie on this. Like it's too slow. It didn't keep my interest, but straight up this time it really did. And the chemistry between Leo and Brad Pitt are two. Tarantino is at his best here, in my opinion. He's a little more toned down with his style, but I think you got to break out of your comfort zone sometimes when you're a director and you've been making movies for 25 years
Yeah.
or 30 years or whatever. So I think it's a phenomenal film. I would recommend it to anybody. I even recommend it to people that are a little older that might not be Tarantino fans because, like my parents, because they don't like the violence. But I've even told my parents, I was like, "There's one scene that's violent. The rest of the movie, you could watch this. Like you'd probably enjoy it."
Yeah, there was
So
one
honestly, I think it's
couple
really
of
well
people
done.
that
It's a
walked
little more.
out during the violent scene when I was watching it.
That's amazing.
I mean, we live in 2019. If you're a grown adult, I think you can handle see enough violence on TV and in movies at this point. Like, I mean, no, it's not toned down superhero violence, but I mean, it's just a little bloody face, a little head going into the phone,
Yeah.
kind of shit. It's fine. Don't worry.
Well, that's like
Hey,
one of the things I love about
So
like
yeah, overall, I would
Tarantino is that he just doesn't
say
care, and I love that.
this
into the
movie's
picture
really
like
well
4
done.
times.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do our ratings. I'm gonna just go ahead and say my rating for this film is a 9 out of 10. Ivan, what would you rate Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I'm also gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
What would you rate the movie?
If I had to rate it anything, I almost went with a good old, probably my first 10 out of 10 movie. But y'all both gave it 9, so if I give it 10, y'all are gonna be like, "Whoa!"
No, we're
I'm
not.
gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Just you want to
All right,
give
all
it a
right.
10. Lauren, you shouldn't worry about what we
I'll
think.
be honest. Just because I
Watch
thought,
Joseph's gonna
just
give it a
because,
1 or something.
just because I felt pretty damn awesome after I saw that movie, I'm gonna say 10 out of 10.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go, man. God. Wait, this might be the highest rated movie on the podcast so far.
I know.
because
Like throw
There's
the
hardly
balloons up in the
ever
air.
only
There
nines
was
and tens.
there was no arguments over this movie. We all
We all
enjoyed
like
it. That's
agreed.
nice.
We were all in formation.
We can also agree that Left Behind was a shitty ass movie.
That was from the old. Yeah.
I
too
didn't.
bad.
I didn't have to watch it. So
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. Y'all want to talk about movies being fucking slow? Left Behind with Nicolas Cage. Swear to God.
It
Oh.
is.
Slowest movie on the fucking planet. Action happens for like 2 seconds.
Also, for those of you who watch the podcast, another Nicolas Cage movie known as Face Off. We're going to talk about that sometime soon, next couple months.
Sometime soon. I think we need to.
So I don't know when.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Ivan and I have
this.
decided we're talking about
I'll tell you
that movie.
this: the Lion King movie that's out now
Right, Ivan?
creeps me out.
Yeah.
Seeing it in 3D.
All right. So tell us,
Hey, look, I love y'all, but can we wrap this up? I gotta use the
saw it?
bathroom.
Sounds good. Jackson, you wanted to throw us out?
Now we're moving on. Now we're moving on to our classic movie, and then we've got our garbage movie next. So Lauren, you've got another 2 hours left.
No! I'm crowning. I'm just kidding.
Nah, JK. Well, that's all we're. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Just one last thing, Joseph. Tell us how your experience was being a guest on the Film Pod.
It was nice. I felt like I was included, and I got to speak my for a while, and then I thought you guys had a lot of good thoughts and good things to say.
Aw, you're so kind.
Appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks for coming on.
That's a wrap!
You're welcome. You're welcome back anytime you want, man. Just let us know.
Thanks for having me, man. It's
No
a pleasure.
problem.
Aw.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching the Film Pod. I am JT Dubs.
I'm Ivan Lichtenstein.
Ivan, you can.
And I am Lauren Gaston.
And I'm Joseph.
I'm Joe.
And thanks for watching
I'm
the
your average
show,
Joe.
everybody.
Exactly.
That's what we should call it, the average Joe.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks for watching,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Later.
Gotta use the bathroom. Ah!